In this lecture, I'm going to explain you about the range syntax used inside the VB coding for Excel. So over here, what we want is we want to create a macro which will select this cell, that is the G8 cell. So we want to assign that to this button that we just created. It's not like a button as such, it's a rectangle that we created, and then we are going to assign it the particular macro, so that we can select this cell G8 when we click this button. So let us start doing this by first recording the macro, so that like if you're not a coder or you're a beginner in coding, then there is no problem for you to understand in that. So go to the left hand corner over here, and then click record button, and let's record it as selection, or rather cell selection macro. Let's name it as a cells selection macro, and then click OK over here and define it as a store in webhook. And now it has started recording. You can see the symbol over here has changed to the stop symbol, and we now select this cell directly, which is the G8 cell, and then click stop button again over here. So this has completed the recording for the macro, and now we can go and view the macro. We can go to view, then go to macros and say view macros, and we have this cell selection macro available over here, and then we can click edit, and we have this code over here. So it says that cell selection macro as the sub procedure name, and then range g8 dot select. So it has used this syntax, that is the range and double quote g8 and dot select. So this gives this when running this macro, it will select the g8 cell. So let's go ahead and assign this macro to range select assign macro over here. You can see this assign macro, and then go and select this cell selection macro, and then click OK. And if I now click over here, then it will select this G8 cell. If I click over here and again click over here, then it selects G8 cell. So in this way, we were able to record the macro and generate auto syntax. But what if we wanted to select the complete G8 to G14? That is, we want these cells to be selected G8 to G14. Then how we can do that? So again, we can again start with recording that. If we don't know the syntax for a particular thing, then you start recording by again clicking over here, and then saying like macro select G8 to G, and you cannot do a space inside the macro name, G8 to G14, and we click OK over here, and the recording has started. You can see the stop symbol appearing over here. So we start by selecting G8 to G14 cells. So G8 to G14 cells are selected, and then we go again and click stop. So this has recorded the this macro has got recorded the G8 to G14 selection. Let's view the code. Macro, then cell selection macro, no, macro select G8 to G14, and then click edit. And here is the code, range G8 to G14, and then just write dot select over here. So in this way, you can keep on learning how you can assign macros and generate macros without knowing much about coding, just by recording it. So on clicking this, it selected G8 to G14 cell. So now getting more into this, like say we want to update a value over here in this cell, that is 17, that is G17 cell, and we want to update it to say value 10. Then how do you do that? Again, same thing, go ahead and just click record macro as assign value, you cannot have space. Again, assign value and click OK over here, and recording has started. You can see stop symbol appearing over here. And now go and select G17 cell and enter a value of 10 over here, and then go and again stop this recording. Then again you can go to view macros and then assign value macro and click edit, and we have this complete formula or the complete code available with us. So what is it does that it selects range G17, that is G17 dot select will do G17 cell selection. Then it says that active cell dot formula R1C1 equal to 10, so it assigns a value as 10 into the G17 cell. And then what we did is like we pressed enter, so that's why it is going to select G18 dot select. So if you don't want the G18 to be selected, you want G17 to be selected, just keep range G17 dot select and then save it, and then again go assign macro over here as assign value macro, click OK, and let's change the value to 0, and if we click it then it will get updated to 10. So in this way you can keep on learning more syntax by just keeping on recording the macro. So thanks for watching this basic video about how you can do a cell selection, update a value inside a cell.